Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're breaking down a technology that's changing the game for how we use the web, really turning what can be a minefield into a secure playground. We are talking about the virtual browser. So, let's just jump right in with a question that I think a lot of us have been feeling, even if we can't quite put our finger on why. With everything we do online these days, is that browser you're using right now actually keeping you safe?
To really get why virtual browsers are such a big deal, we have to look at the problem they're built to solve. And the truth is, the modern web, it's just packed with invisible dangers, and our old ways of dealing with them just aren't cutting it anymore.
And look, these aren't just, some far-off possibilities. This stuff is happening all the time. We're talking about sophisticated fingerprinting that tracks you even after you've deleted your cookies. Malware that can slip in from a single bad ad and infect your whole system. And if you're working remotely or maybe sharing access with a teammate, the risk of leaking data or getting your credentials stolen is just constant. Our normal browsers, they just weren't designed for this world.
So what do we do? Well, it means we have to think about this in a totally different way. On the left, you see traditional browsing. That's how it works now. All the code from a website, the good stuff and the bad, it runs right there on your computer, exposing your IP, your identity, everything. But now look at the virtual model on the right. Here, all that code runs somewhere else, on a remote server. It creates this kind of protective bubble that totally isolates you from the web.
And that protective bubble, that barrier, that is the virtual browser. Honestly, the best way to picture it is like a digital safe room that you step into before you go out onto the wild internet. Let's break that definition down a bit. When you're using a virtual browser, you're not really browsing the web on your machine. You're actually just controlling a browser that lives on some secure server somewhere out there in the cloud. That server takes all the risks, and all you get is a safe, interactive video stream of the web page. So the dangerous code? It never even gets close to your computer.
Here's a great way to think about it. Imagine there's a dangerous chemical in the next room. You wouldn't go in here yourself, right? No way. You'd send in a remote-controlled robot. The robot handles the mess, and you stay safe behind the glass. That robot, that's your virtual browser. It can get covered in all the internet gunk, malware, trackers, you name it. But you and your computer stay completely untouched.
And the process itself is actually pretty simple. For you, it feels the same. You click a link, you type in a website, it's business as usual. But what's really happening is your command gets sent to a brand new, totally clean browser session running in the cloud. That remote session does the work, and then it streams back just the pixels, just the visual result, to your screen. It's this brilliant separation of your actions from the actual, potentially risky execution.
Okay, so the idea is obviously really powerful. But like anything, not all virtual browsers are made the same. So if you were going to check one out, what are the things you should actually be looking for? Well, let's lay out the most important criteria.
You're going to want to look for a few key things here. First, true session isolation. This is huge. It means your Amazon tab has no idea your Google tab even exists, period. Then, a zero-trust model, which is exactly what it sounds like. It treats every single website as a potential threat. You also want to look for things that make you more productive, like being able to log into multiple accounts on the same site at the same time. And this one's super important, real browser fidelity. You want to be sure you're controlling a real-deal Chrome or Firefox in the cloud, not some cheap imitation, so that every website just works. So, to make this less of an abstract checklist, let's look at how this plays out in the real world. The source material uses one platform, Sendwin, as an example to show what these features actually look like in practice.
Okay, so a claim of up to 80% faster productivity? That's a pretty bold claim. Where does a number like that even come from? Well, the argument is that by getting rid of all that manual busy work, the constant logging in and out, clearing your cache, switching between different browser profiles, you get a huge chunk of your day back. You become way more efficient.
And the real magic here is in the architecture. It's not just that the browser is somewhere else. It's that every single tab you open is basically a brand new, completely separate computer. Just think about that for a second. In one tab, you could be logged into your work account, appearing like you're in Germany. And in the very next tab, you could be on your personal account, appearing as if you're in Japan. And there is absolutely zero chance of those two worlds ever touching. This total separation also opens up a completely new way to collaborate with people. So you can forget about the super risky habit of, texting or slacking passwords back and forth. Instead, you can actually share temporary, controlled access to the browser session itself. You can give someone access for just 10 minutes, and when that timer is up, poof, their access is gone. It's the difference between total chaos and total control.
And this is all built on top of a really serious security foundation, that whole zero trust idea. You've got things like built-in proxy integration, so you can control your IP address and location on the fly without needing a clunky VPN. All your data is locked down with enterprise-grade encryption, the same kind of stuff your bank uses. It's all delivered through agentless streaming, which is just a fancy way of saying there's nothing for you to install. And maybe the coolest part? Disposable sessions. You can spin up a completely fresh, sterile browser for one specific task, and then just destroy it, and every trace of it is gone forever.
So, after all the technical stuff, what's the big idea here? What's the main takeaway? It's really that this isn't just about a new app or a new tool. It's a chance to completely rethink how we interact with the web and, more importantly, how we stay safe while we're doing it.
I think this quote from the source material really nails it. For so long, we've been told that we have to make a choice. You can either be secure or you can be efficient, but you can't be both. This technology, this approach, it's a maturation. It's a way to finally have both security and efficiency without having to make a trade-off. It's just a smarter way to be online.
And that really leaves us with a final question to think about. So much of our lives now, our jobs, our money, our friendships, it all happens through a browser window. So if our digital lives have become our real lives, doesn't it make sense to protect them with the same seriousness we protect ourselves in the physical world? Maybe it really is time to put our digital selves behind a much, much safer window.